The Gates Foundation has documented the economic catastrophe that COVID-19 has produced. Bill, what if the recovery out of this catastrophe is K-shaped, which is to say one half of industry and society emerging from the pandemic strong and possibly stronger than before, and the other half weaker and falling further behind?
Well, as long as the disease is out there, things like tourism, restaurants, a lot of small businesses will be disproportionately affected, whereas office workers, where the virtual connections has actually meant that their loss of productivity is actually quite modest, they'll continue to have their job and be able to be fairly productive. And so the inequity of this, whether it's between citizens in the country, blue collar versus white collar, blacks experiencing a higher sickness rate than others. Poor countries can't borrow money and spend money like the US and other rich countries have. So almost every dimension of inequity has been accentuated here. And that just takes us back to, we've got to bring this thing to a close. And then you can have the tourism and the travel and the sports and the variety of things, get back to where we were before this.
The conspiracy theorists who believe that you helped to create and spread the coronavirus might be easy to dismiss if there weren't so many of them. Has that notoriety become an impediment to your efforts or the foundation's work yet?
Well, it's so crazy, to suggest the opposite, which is, we make vaccines and that has saved, millions of lives. To somehow say that the vaccine in general is malign, or that, the deaths aren't really taking place. It's surprising to me how interesting that is. So it spreads far more quickly than the truth. The big concern is that if that means that the protection of others, like wearing masks or a willingness of enough people to take the vaccine, then it absolutely does make things worse. And the idea of how should these social media platforms try and avoid being the source of these sort of weirdly interesting falsehoods, that's a debate or discussion we're gonna have to continue to have.